Hi, how far can £100 get you on an adult's weekend at Butlins in Minehead? I'm not sure anybody's asked that question before, but I'm here today to ask it and hopefully answer it. I'm going to hand it over to Voice Over Me now. He's going to explain more. Let's go and spend some money.
Oh my God, right. First of all, hang on. Oh my God. First of all, I can't believe I've just used the term hand it over to as if I'm some kind of presenter or newsreader, but we are where we are. Second of all, we're back at home. Well, I'm back at home. Chris is at work. We're both full of cold. I caught it first. I felt really run down, like towards the end of the weekend. I had every intention of doing some bits to camera whilst I was there, but I just felt really rough. Sort of going into sort of Saturday night / Sunday morning. I struggled to sleep. I woke up on Sunday and I just felt just like, I don't know. I don't know. Somebody could have just put me out to pasture and I would have been happy with it, I think. I'd still be happy with that right now. So if you want to turn up and do that, then that's absolutely fair enough and I'll accept it. But anyway, I am still going to show you how far £100 can get you. But there's going to be another part of this video after that where I'm going to talk about the whole weekend a little bit more. I didn't really want this video to turn into a review video, considering that I've already done a review video of the same weekend from the same place on 2 separate occasions now. You can go and watch those videos if you want. They're not very good though. But the point still remains the same, that I didn't want to necessarily turn it into a review video. But there's just a couple of things that I want to get off my chest. I think this might actually be the last 2000s weekender that me and Chris do for a good while. Who knows though, you know, stranger things have happened. We might find ourselves back there in a couple of months' time or something. More on that a little bit later though. For now, the idea for this video was to plan to basically just spend money without trying to save any money. This isn't like a budget challenge or anything like that. I know we're about to see how far £100 can go, but the idea was to basically spend money as we normally would have done, regardless of whether I'd have been filming a video for YouTube or not. So that's exactly what we did, and spoiler alert, you might be surprised as to how far it gets us. I suppose it just depends really on your definition of the word far. But anyway, here's £100 somewhere on the bottom of the screen. Let's start spending some money, shall we? And we started at Costa. We bought 1 small hot chocolate and 1 medium tea, which came to a grand total of £6.85. Now, usually I would say that would shock me, but this is Butlins prices we're talking about, so £6.85 is actually pretty decent, I think. But anyway, after we'd finished our morning hot drinks, we decided to go over... Morning hot drinks, I've just made us sound really, really old, haven't I? I feel old at the minute with this cold, I really do. But after those drinks, we went over to the Beachcomber. For 2 meals and 2 soft drinks, it cost us £39.58. I remember whilst sitting in the Beachcomber, I confirmed to myself that this video might not have lasted as long as what I thought it was going to originally. But with just over £50 left before we'd even done anything else or thought of doing anything else throughout the day, we decided to have a bit of a wander around the tent. And whilst we were walking around, we wanted to go and get some alcohol. £13 later, we were the proud owners of 2 pints of cider. I'm not sure we were overly proud, considering that we'd just spent 13 quid on them, but at least we were about to be hydrated for the early part of the afternoon that was to follow. Shortly after buying these drinks, we found ourselves lurking among the 2p machines to see what we could win. And £12 later, let me show you what we won. Hang on. Yep, £12 in total, mind. Not just to win this, obviously, but out of that £12, I promise you, this is all we won. It's alright though, because we were on holiday. Anyway, let's carry on. So shortly after winning the most expensive keyring known to man, we made our way over to the sports bar to play some pool. This is Hot Shots, and by this point of the weekend, we'd already been in there once before. We just don't talk about what happened. Now, with the low point of being beaten earlier on in the weekend looming large in my head, it was time to get my own back. But of course, this is Butlins, and to do that comes at a cost. So off we went to pay for a pool table. Now, the pool tables cost either £5 for half an hour or £7 for an hour. You also have to pay a £10 deposit that you get back at the end. And because you get that £10 deposit back at the end, I didn't count it in this £100 that was very, very quickly depleting. But after paying £7 for an hour on the pool table, we went to the bar to buy some more of those really expensive pints of cider. And with another £13 gone, it was time to get some revenge, and I promise you, I got my revenge. playing pool is actually something that we quite enjoyed doing over the weekend. The atmosphere in Hot Shots is always good. It's always been great when we've been there anyway. And we were more than happy to stay in there, and that's exactly what we did by paying another £5 for an extra half an hour at the pool table. By this point, though, as you can see somewhere on the screen, depending on how I've edited this, out of the £100 that we started with, we had a grand total of £3.57 left after paying that extra fiver for the extra half an hour on the pool table. It was also at that point where I realised that this video was going to change. Now, that remaining £3.57 more than likely went on things like 2p machines and all of that. But there you have it, I suppose. 2 hot drinks, 2 meals with a drink each, 4 pints of cider, around about an hour and a half on a pool table, and some money at the 2p machines is exactly how far £100 or so, in our case, because it wasn't exactly £100, was it, because of that remaining £3.57, but that's how far around about that kind of money got us at Butlins. Is it far? I don't think it was that far, to be honest with you. But then again, we made memories, we had a laugh, we had a good time, and I beat Chris at pool. I definitely did beat Chris at pool. I'm telling you, God, I need to let it go, don't I? I can't believe she beat me. She always says that she's really bad at pool and she doesn't know what to do, but then she just beats me. I mean, I'm not the best, but, you know, you've got to have some kind of skill level to be able to play a game like pool. Anyway, congratulations to her for winning. I just know that I'm never going to let it happen again. Now, when I realised that this video was going to change a little bit, I started to write notes down about the weekend in general. Like I said earlier on, I didn't really want it to turn into a review video, but there was some things this time that just, I don't know, just didn't really sit right with me. And I'm going to talk to you about them just now. I honestly feel as though this might be the last 2000s weekender that me and Chris go on. Just for some context, from a personal point of view, we love coming to Butlins. We've been coming to Butlins for the last 10 years or so, and as you can see, we've made loads of memories there over that time. I might tell the full story someday of how me and Chris met, but the very short version is that we used to speak online, we lost contact, we reconnected again, and whilst we were working out exactly when to meet, which would have been for the first time ever in person, we both said that we couldn't do the same weekend in June of 2015. We both realised basically that we were going to end up being at the same Butlins weekend together, just with different people. And this picture here was taken at that adults weekend at Butlins in Minehead. It was an 80s weekend. It was from the 5th to the 8th of June, and it was really the defining weekend for how I feel about Butlins, and it was the first time that I'd ever gone. But like, no matter how special the place is to me, we've left Butlins in Minehead this weekend feeling a little bit deflated. For example, right, I'm not the music police, and I promise you I am fun at parties, but this weekend didn't really seem very 2000s to me at all. One of the main reasons that me, Chris, and many other people decide to go to these 2000s weekenders at Butlins is to feel the nostalgia and the cheesy pop of the 2000s. Like, it would be the same thing if you were going to an 80s weekend or a 70s weekend. Like, you'd want to be surrounded by that music for a couple of days. The nostalgia and the cheesy pop from the 2000s is one of the main reasons that me and Chris enjoy going to Pop World in Birmingham, for example. Go there if you haven't been there already. It's one of the best Pop Worlds ever, honestly. But when you book a 2000s weekender at Butlins, it's supposed to be a 2000s weekender. So why were many of the DJs playing songs from other decades? Like, once or twice I can understand it. We went to an 80s weekend a couple of years ago, and Pat Sharp, the DJ, in the middle of his 80s like opening night set, this was on the Friday night, he randomly just decided to play Mr. Brightside by The Killers, which of course is not an 80s song. But he did it one time, and we all looked at each other as if to say, oh my god, you can't do that. That's not 80s. That's terrible. Oh my god, you know, and people found it funny. But this time there was more music creeping in from other decades, and I don't know, it just didn't feel very 2000s. Also, yet again, it was very quiet in most places. I don't want it to be like heaving with people, but we've been in centre stage before where we've physically felt the floor shaking because of how many people are in there and how many people are jumping up and down to music and artists and all that stuff. But there was none of that this time. It seems to have just, I don't know, fallen off a little bit. Studio 36 was busy, but the wait times, again, just like the last couple of times we've been, the wait times for drinks were just unbelievable. Around about half an hour on average, I would say, for a drink. And I'm not sure whether it's like a shortage of staff or whether the pumps that they use when they're, you know, making drinks and stuff, whether they're slow. I do know that there was a couple of card machines, like literally 1 or 2 card machines, spread out between like 6 or maybe 7 members of staff. It was just bad. It just seems like it's not going to change anytime soon. And something else that I don't think will change anytime soon either is the atmosphere in some places. Now, I mentioned earlier on about the fact that the sports bar had a good atmosphere, and that's true. You know, it can't be said for like everywhere in Butlins, but you know, just like how quiet it is, I don't know, it just seems like if the quietness carries on, then these weekends won't be around forever. We wanted to go to a silent disco on the Saturday night, but we just felt a little bit, I don't know, just deflated, and I think I've already said that in this video. But as well as feeling deflated, at this point I started to feel a little bit run down anyway, so we missed the silent disco. And to be honest with you, it's a good job that we did, because according to various Facebook posts that we've seen, the silent disco was cancelled because of people fighting. Like, how ridiculous do people have to be to start fighting each other at a silent disco at Butlins? Like, I'm so confused with that. I really am. Obviously, I wasn't there. I don't know what happened. All I know is that the silent disco was cancelled early because people were fighting, and I just think it's really sad, to be honest. I really, really do. I know there's probably reasons, and there's 2 sides to every story and all of that, but fighting, really? I don't know. But like I said, we decided to go back to the room anyway. And in terms of the room, it was a comfort room. It was basic, but it was a nice location. It was pretty close to the tent. The room itself included just a room with a bed and then a bathroom as well. There wasn't much privacy, so we had to close the curtains all weekend. If they were open, as you can see, the outside was literally just right there, so there was definitely no privacy unless you closed the curtains. The bed wasn't comfortable by any stretch of the imagination, but at the end of the day, you're at Butlins, it's hardly going to be 5-star accommodation, is it? And I say that as somebody who loves Butlins, and I suppose it's kind of a weird trade-off, really. You pay for a relatively cheap holiday, and then you spend the couple of days after feeling like you've been hit by a bus because the bed that you slept on felt like concrete. But for us, it's another Butlins weekend done and dusted. We're still happy that we went. Maybe we will go in the future, I'm not too sure. We've always spoken about going to like Bognor or maybe Skegness, but because of the importance of the Minehead resort to us, I don't know, we've just never bitten the bullet and looked into it, I guess, seriously, really. But who knows, you know, we'll see what happens. If you go to Butlins in Minehead, though, just go to one of the supermarkets beforehand. Right outside the resort, you've got Morrison's, you've got Tesco, you've got Lidl, and trust me, by doing this, if you wanted to go and get like your alcohol and your snacks and all of that stuff ready for your adults weekend, it's going to save you money. Trust me, it's saved us money for a long time. I think lots of other people do it. It's quite funny, actually, because we usually go to Morrison's, and because the check-in at Butlins is either like 3 or 4 o'clock, around about that time, Morrison's just gets really busy with all these people who are going to Butlins. It's quite funny. But anyway, go to the supermarkets beforehand, because I promise you, you will save money. Now, I thought about doing this video around about a month or maybe a month and a half before we went to Butlins. And I kind of knew back then that £100 wouldn't get us very far if we were just spending money on site. And in my opinion, I wasn't wrong. It didn't really get us that far at all. But whilst we were there, I noticed little things as well, like the fact that the price of drinks have gone up again. Cocktails used to be 2 for a tenner, now they're 2 for £13. The big pitchers of alcohol that you can get, I think they're about £30 now, or just under, maybe like £29 and so many pence. Prices of things are just going up and up and up on site at Butlins, and honestly, I just don't think it's going to improve. But on that note, that's pretty much it for this video. As always, thanks for watching if you've gotten this far, and thanks for bearing with me with this stupid cold that I have. Let me know about your Butlins experiences in the comments if you want to. We'll see about going to another weekend in the future, I'm sure. For now, though, I think I need to recover from this one that we've recently just been on.